Hello, everybody. This is Eleni and Marcus, and this is episode 4 of Channeling Wisdom with Ameed. Ameed is Ameed is a higher dimensional being that Marcus channels and has been channeling for some time now. And we've got this wonderful, amazing, incredible opportunity to actually be speaking directly to a higher dimensional being. I've got a wonderful question to ask Ameed today, so we'll see how we go. But first of all, let's just let Marcus get into the space of connecting into Ameed before we begin.
It is much joy that we come here in this moment in dimensional time and space. We are much excited about the interactions that we can assist with in the evolution of this star system, this galaxy, this planet, and all of you here that have chosen to be in this moment now.
Thank you so much for once again coming along and allowing this conversation to happen. I'm so grateful. So Ameed, I've got a question that actually comes and stems from our previous conversation. So in our previous conversation, you actually said that there were things that were going to happen. There were things that were going to occur, which will shake up the human collective, which will bring about some choices to be made by humanity and will further assist us with this ascension to 4D consciousness. I was wondering if you could perhaps enlighten us and tell us about what are these events that you talk about that will occur and when will they occur?
This is often the question we are asked, and about timelines and specific information about future occurrences. You must understand that within the macro is the micro, and the micro in the macro, and whenever there's a shift and a change in the human consciousness, the evolution of both the individual and the collective, often this is preceded by an event, a situation that destabilizes the psyche, the heart, the physicality of the being, so that you can shift into another dimension, another evolution of your journey here on the earth plane. And sometimes this won't happen unless there is a event, a catalytic event that assists in that process. In a perfect world, you would voluntarily follow your path, your journey, your evolutionary process. But for most of you, you have been trained not to step into this, to be of the worry and the concern, to step into the fear, the hesitation of powerfully moving into your destiny, your dream, your desire, the embracement of your magic, the thing that you are here to deliver on. For when you stood on the precipice before you stepped powerfully, courageously into this life, you agreed to share some wisdom, some magic that is all of who you are. And within that, you have an evolutionary pathway from which to follow. When you divert, when you disappear off that pathway, your soul, your fullness will guide you gently back into that space. This sometimes is led by a catalytic event. As the macro, as the collective of energetic, of resonant species, you are also moving and evolving together in a similar fashion. Up until this moment, as a collective, you wish not to see the future evolution of what it is that you could be as this collective species. And so there are events and situations that will destabilize so that you can shift into another dimension of reality. For when you are stuck, when you are anchored into one frequency, the transition between one frequency or consciousness and another consciousness is a destabilization, is a disharmonic resonance. For as you transition from one note to another note, from a frequency, sound point of view, resonance point of view, you go into destabilized frequencies. Right now, there has been many, many years where you have been stable, when you have followed a stable line, but collectively you have not wished to elevate, to continue to evolve into the next frequency, the next level of consciousness, the next dimension, as you suggest. Therefore, shifts and changes are happening that will move you into that space, and you can come with the calmness of your magic, or you can come with the kicking and the screaming into that space. Some of these shifts will be noticeably rocking the foundation of your experience here. We often will not suggest the exactness of what will happen, only for the fact that when you understand how creation works, you understand the consciousness is the framework of the creation. If we are to embed the possibilities that could unfold, you may embed into some of those realities that may or may not exist. But these realities are unfolding in this moment. Only have to connect in to sense this possibility. And there is both the natural evolutionary cycle that is evolving, but also a human created evolutionary consciousness that's being created. Right now, here on the planet, there are two matrices running. There is the natural matrix of the existence of this planet in this time and dimension. There is also a phantom matrix that has been unfolded on top of this layer. This phantom matrix is what you have been trapped in for some time now. The phantom matrix is becoming more obvious so that you can consciously choose which space you wish to exist in. It is creating multiple timelines that exist in the same time and space, where the people will have two differing opinions on reality. Both are correct, depending on which timeline you choose to exist in. And so there are four aspects to this that are now existing on your planet, two timelines and two matrices. And you must choose which one you shall follow, because in a short period of time, these timelines and matrices will split and will start to dissolve themselves to create the new reality in the next level of dimension. Remembering that dimensions are not in levels, but rather in spherical shapes of expansion. So you are preparing to expand into the next sphere of reality, the next sphere of consciousness. In doing such, there are these ignition points that need to light up to show you which direction you are most empowered to move into. Therefore, you will notice the earthly shifts that are happening in this moment. the natural matrix is opening up the ignition points to assist you to transition into the next dimension. At the same time, you will notice the phantom matrix creating barriers and roadblocks to contain their consciousness, for it wishes for you not to continue to evolve in the way that is the natural matrix, but rather evolve in a controlled, contained fashion. This matrix is held by disharmonic frequencies and exists because for you to experience and step fully into the fullness of who you are, you must see both sides of every coin. For without both sides, you would not be able to continue to evolve. So these realities are important that they exist in the same time and space. For you, the importance is to choose consciously which timeline, which matrix you wish to exist in. That will assist in the collapsing of the other matrix. It is important now that you empower yourself by understanding, by feeling into each of the realities that exist in this moment. You will notice a shift on the earth plane, a shift that has been spoken of for many a year in your past existences. This shift is happening in reality time in the natural matrix. The shift of both the solar expression as well as the inner core expression of your planetary existence. Both the solar and the inner aspect of your planet are aligned, like you are aligned with your external expression of who you are and the deeper expression of who you are. This is a representation of the reality of the solar system that you are experiencing and existing in this moment. You will recognize and feel the shifts appearing shortly. Within this, you must remain anchored and stable in the matrix of your choosing. And in this free universe, you have the ability to choose which matrix, which timeline you wish to exist in. When shall these unfoldings, these ignition points happen is partly up to your consciousness as to when you wish them to be experienced. In some respect, this is the embracing of the moment as encouragement, as a positive, as welcoming as possible. These shifts and changes are unfolding in this moment, and you can elongate them for an amount of time, but we suggest that it's much more joyful and easier if you embrace as soon as possible. The shifts are coming, and for you to be ready to embrace this shift and change, we ask that you expand your consciousness into this reality. For when the earth shifts, there will be times of fear, there will be times of worry and concern. But if you have prepared your consciousness to be stable during this destabilization, then you will be able to transition into the next evolution of consciousness, the next dimensional evolution with calm and the peace, and less of the disruption to both your physical, mental, and emotional bodies. This is appearing, it is happening. The time for this is up to the collective you. For if you call it forth, it will appear sooner. If you continue to step into the fear and the worry of the concern, then you will push it away. As you push it away, it becomes more amplified. The ignition becomes stronger. And when this ignition is fired off, then you will sense it at a deeper, more profound level. We would recommend, we would invite you to begin the embracing of this transformation in this moment. For as you embrace this reality, this inevitable reality as part of the evolution of this planetary system, then will you be able to fully play your part in the growth and expansion, both expansion for you, but expansion for the system itself. This is what we come here to share. The exact timeline is up to you, and we wish not to influence how this plays out for you. We are not the future tellers. We are not the ones to embed a consciousness command that may create it in a way that is not honoring you in your desires. We can tell you it is appearing that these ignition points are unfolding. And your role is to embrace the consciousness, the cosmic consciousness of your truth, of being part of the universal family, so that you may embrace these moments with the positivity and the welcomingness of this event. It has been spoken of for many millennia, and you chose this moment from which to experience, from which to assist in this process. You must watch your thinking, must watch your consciousness, and become the master creator of your consciousness. Then you can pick the date when this is going to unfold. We can tell you it is fast approaching. And it is inevitable that these events, these ignition points will activate themselves. It is time.
Thank you. So one final question in relation to all of that, which is with the people that will select the fear path, what will be of them? What will their timeline look like?
The journey in the two realities that exist in this moment is a collapse into one reality, the next dimension of reality. Both of these realities that are running in this moment will collapse in on themselves. Those that are sitting in the unconsciousness or the fear of what might unfold will have a more destabilized journey into the next evolution. This will cause more disharmonics in the brain, in the body, in the heart. There will be more of this disruption. Some may in this reality choose to assist from another time and dimension, from the other side, as you would call it. There are many choosing this path right now. And this is okay. When you understand the dimensional nature of the universe, you realize that in the transition, one moves into another frequency of vibration, one that is more connected into the truth of the universe. So the moving away from this time and space is not which you experience as sadness and as the unhappy experience. This is a joyful experience for those that choose that pathway in this moment. But for the majority of you, you will choose to remain here, and we invite you not to step into the fear, even as the disharmonies continue to grow and build, where it looks like things are being destroyed. This is not the case. Sometimes in the building of the next evolution, one must one must let go of the existing fabric of time and space, so that you can move into this next grand evolution of your planetary system and your species. This has happened many times before on many planetary systems. This is now your moment and your turn to journey into this space. We ask that you let go of the fear and worry and concern. This is a natural evolution, and as such, with all natural, it is destined, it is meant to happen, and you will come along for the journey. The more you sit in the disharmonic resonant space, the more disruptive and more hurtful this transition might be. We ask that you sit in the self, into the soul aspect of who you are, and recognize the truth of this moment. And those that are not of the consciousness, you must assist and assist them and nurture them through this aspect of the evolutionary process. For many of you will come into this space. You have predestined this to happen. This is what you chose before you journeyed into this space. There is nothing to fear. Even in the transition for some, there is nothing to fear. This is the nature of a universe teeming with life, that the universe continues to expand and evolve. It is the natural cycle of everything. And you are in the microcosm of this experience. We welcome you here. We are grateful for your choosing to be here on the planet as it evolves. We are here to support. We are here to help you in this process. There is nothing to fear. It will unfold in exactly the way it needs to. Your role is to choose the reality, choose the consciousness you wish to journey through. You have this choice. The natural matrix or the phantom matrix is your choosing. We wish for you to awaken into the natural fiber, the natural fabric of the universe, and embrace this reality, for this is the next evolution for you all.
Thank you so much for your wisdom today, Ameed. And yes, my hope is that we all step into that path, the path of non-fear. So thank you so much once again for coming in today.
You must remember you are blessed. You are being watched by many beings, and you are being supported. You just need to drop into the space and listen, feel into this truth. We are here to support and assist and help in this evolutionary process. You are blessed and much loved. There is celebrations for you that we are having. Blessings.
Thank you so much.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh, how was that?
Good. Every time we have a conversation with Ameed, there's always a new term that comes in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, for me anyway.
What was the new term today?
But for
I don't
me,
know.
phantom matrix.
Oh, yeah. I've heard she's spoken about that once before, I think.
The phantom matrix, she said that a number of times, you know, that there is a phantom matrix on top of the matrix. So help me to understand, Marcus. So like I see the matrix as the illusion of this game that we're playing on planet Earth, of the adventure playground, of these identities that we're holding and these roles that we're playing. The phantom matrix, Ameed said, is on top of that. So what's the phantom matrix?
Well, yeah. I think what my understanding of what's been happening on the planet is that as we're moving into the next dimension, it's almost like if we imagine layers, it's not layers, it's sort of spherical, but if we imagine layers, in between one dimension and the next dimension is disharmonic layers. As we start to step into that layer, which is what we're in at the moment, there's an opportunity for, because everything's really destabilized, there's an opportunity for the matrix itself to sort of split, or timelines. And probably one of the ways to understand is timelines, that all of a sudden in this space, multiple timelines start running.
She did say that.
And in one of the timelines creates this phantom matrix, which is not the natural, it's not the real one, it's man-made, if you will. It's like a man-made sort of matrix, and it's a matrix of sort of control and influence, and it's almost like opportunistic. When you're in between dimensions, there's this opportunistic layer where ego and other forces can come in and try and control and influence the outcome of the evolution. Now, the funny part about it is, when I originally channeled years ago, they told me a story about how the universe was created, and it had nothing to do with the Big Bang, right? Which is what science is now finding out. But as such, it was a recreation of a past universe, and that in that universe, what ended up happening was that the phantom matrix took hold. And so that universe started to become really, let's just call it uncomfortable. I won't go into any more exclusive words because I don't want to activate any of that, negative crap. And so what ended up happening is that it was almost like an artificial matrix. There's another way of looking at phantom matrix. Like an artificial matrix was created, and then the benevolent beings of that time decided this can't keep going. So they sort of collapsed that universe, and then this one came from that universe, expanded out from that. And the way they do that is collapse it in. It's a whole black hole, white hole type of experience, right? Where they collapse into a black hole and come out in a white hole. And that's sort of like the next dimension starts to expand itself out. So sort of the Big Bang is sort of true, but not really true, because we're talking about black hole out into sort of this white hole experience. And so then that expands out. And so now on this planet, we're having a bit of a micro of that macro experience. And so this is why there's so much interest on this planet right now, is because there is a component that is trying to create this phantom or artificial matrix. And they don't want that to spread any further than here. But again, in an evolution, it's when you're in between, when you're in the disharmonic resonance, it is easier for that to be created and to take hold.
Okay.
That's
because
the problem.
everything is not balanced, and that's all we need to come back to center.
It's all over the place. That's right. So anything's possible. I mean, the sort of positive in the disharmonic is anything's possible. It's a bit like the dark night of the soul or the underworld, right? So the Egyptians used to use the underworld a lot to grow and to evolve. So we're sort of going into that place because that's where evolution happens. And it's not so much evolution because it's where the shift happens. So, you can be happy and joyful, have a beautiful life, but you don't tend to grow that much until you have some dark night of the soul issues, right? That's the disharmonic. So we're sort of in this collective sort of dark night of the soul-y type thing. But in that, because we're in the underworld or the darkness, anything can materialize itself, right? So opportunistically, the other forces are trying to create this artificial matrix to control, but it's they're not going to let it happen.
It's a complex subject. So just getting back to he was talking about, we've got these points here where catalyst moments are now going to happen, and they're coming really quickly towards us.
Ignition points, I think they were called.
Ignition is what she said. Is that, would you say that is the USA-China situation? Is one of those?
No, that's I think that's a distraction. I think there's a number of distractions right now.
You don't think that's going to?
No, I don't get a sense it is. There are other things that are happening on the planet from a natural point of view, things like the pole shifts, magnetic shifts. I mean, that's accelerating incredibly rapidly right now. And these are the natural sort of matrixy things that are happening, pole shifts and more disruption in the Earth's core, and that the Earth core may have actually stopped rotating now and about to spin the other way. And there's all these sort of things that are happening. Again, I kind of like the macro micro, and within the middle of the planet, you know, we can imagine there's a sun, and, you know, when we've got the sun, so we can look at the sun and see what's happening. And there's more solar flares, more disruption happening on our sun at the moment than there has been for a long time. So again, that's a way of shifting the dimension and sort of pushing it through, or, you know, encouraging it through. At the end of the day, it's our consciousness that's going to fully take us there or not take us there. And we have some really, it's choices, I suppose, big choices to make about our consciousness and what we become fully aware of, and how we play an active part in this. Because so often we've been very asleep, where we don't play an active role. And I know in life, like macro, micro, in life, sometimes you can just bumble along and not play an active role in your life. You just do the job you do. You just live in the house you live, just, you know, and you may have dreams of traveling and doing all these things, but you just let it out of your consciousness and you just bumble along. As a collective, we've been doing that, and we need to not only wake up, but become actively conscious in the evolutionary process, right? Which is to anchor into, okay, here's what's happening. Find the truth within you about what's happening. What we definitely know is that we are shifting into another realm of consciousness, or that's the potential. Within that, we know from just music itself that when you shift from one harmonic note to another, you go through a disharmonic note, right? You have to, right? It's just part of nature. And so we're stepping into that. Our choice now is to go, what note do we choose to play next? Do we choose to continue to play harmonic music, or do we choose to play harmonic music? Now, when we do that, we have to watch our consciousness, because any thought that is not of that purity is going to play into the other matrix, right? So our responsibility isn't necessarily to go out in the world and save people and blah, blah, blah. Our responsibility is our consciousness. That's the number one responsibility, is our consciousness. Then go out and save the world or people or whatever you're called to do, right? Because there's the calling. And I think that's another key point right now, is to listen to your own calling. We're all being called to step into whatever reality we're being called to step into, right? Part of it's what we want to create and all that sort of stuff, but we are being called. And we have to hear the call, or listen to the call, and then step powerfully into that with courage, conviction. We have to do it together, co-creative, collaborative. We can't do it alone anymore. Although we're doing the consciousness alone in ourselves, we have to connect with other consciousness and together co-create the future. The way you see it playing out, or whatever your reality is, we know we're shifting. This is never, well, in our lifetime, yours and mine, and our parents' lifetime, this has never happened before. Potentially in ancient Egypt and Mayans and Atlantis, all those other places may have. But right now, we've never experienced this. It's not the same. One thing we could be sure of is things are not the same as they were when I was a child. Everything just went on as normal. There was nothing. There was no real disruption or anything. It just sort of played out. And of course, we had Cold War and man-made things, but nothing really like we're having right now. There's a cacophony of stuff happening, and it can feel overwhelming because there's Russia, Ukraine, there's all sorts of things happening. There's the pole shifts, there's crazy weather patterns happening. There's all these things that are unfolding, and it can feel really worrying, and people can get anxious. But we've got to step in and go, okay, if I'm in the natural matrix, then all this is playing out exactly the way it should play out. And I don't get distracted by the man-made distractions that are playing out. Right? I need to step into the naturalness of this and go, okay, let me connect into that matrix, the natural matrix, what's called the holographic universal matrix, if you must know. That was a name given to me a long, long time ago, the holographic universal matrix. And then this phantom, what she's been talking about, I believe, in the last little bit, is this phantom matrix, which is almost a human artificial constructed matrix.
But if we can summarize all of that into into what we need to do right now, is things are going to, in layman's language, things are going to play out. Things will appear scary and frightening And we need to know that it's playing out the way it needs to. And the sooner it plays out, the better, so that we can actually step into the new world. And so what we need to do is center ourselves, remember who we are, and know that there is nothing to be afraid of.
No. And just to focus on your consciousness moment by moment and bring forth that next amazing multi-dimensional reality, whatever we'll experience when that appears. That's Beautiful. The key. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Marcus.
Oh, thanks for the conversation.
Really, it was one of the most energized kind of, you had a lot of movement happening when you were going through that.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, it was really, I think it almost seemed like Ameed really wanted to get the point across that we've got nothing to be afraid of. We just need to stay centered. It's supposed to play out this way. Welcome it, because it means we're moving on to the next level of this game, which is what we're going to the next level.
Yeah, one of the interesting things is often I've asked for timelines and stuff and tell me the future, and she of all people won't do it, because she understands consciousness. And if we say, okay, on the 1st of April, this is going to happen, well, chances are that will cause something to happen, because we all consciously go, oh, Ameed said it's going to happen, so let's wait. And it's like, that's not how the universe works, and not a free universe anyway. So she's really careful about that. To say things are coming, ignition points are coming, things are happening.
And quickly, she said too.
And quickly, it's going faster and faster.
Yeah, I'm not sure what quickly means. Does that mean this year or the next few years? But it's speeding up. It's speeding up.
So, and as it starts to happen, I'm sure she'll talk more about, okay, what do we do? How do we navigate it? That sort of stuff. So, Anyway, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, ELENI, for facilitating. Love this.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
You guys.